Hey guys, Sandy here, and today I am going to be scrapbooking with the November 1st sketch from Stuck Sketches, and this was created by Laura Whitaker, and you can see it here. It has room for 3 photos, and I am going to use 3 photos that these are from the Spaceship Earth ride at Epcot, and I am going to trim them down so they aren't going to go all the way across the page. I am going to follow the sketch with the smaller size photos, probably not that small, but still smaller. And not only that, I'm using my kit that I have created for my album that I'm working on, and that is the Disney Girls Trip album. And on top of this, so on top of using this kit and this sketch, I am doing a challenge from the Secret Not Secret Kit Club. It was a this or that challenge, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things I have to add on to this layout. I haven't exactly chosen which ones I'm going to go for yet, but we'll figure that out, and then you'll be able to see that, and I'll tell you at the end of the video. All right, guys, let's see what I can do. So I had cut down those 3 photos and then matted them on a piece of pink colored cardstock. And what I'm doing right here is I have a mixture of clear gesso, white acrylic paint, and a little teeny tiny bit of some Recollections glitter acrylic teal paint. And the color is ever so slightly teal, but when it dries, it really blends into the page, and it almost looks like the background was already there and created that way. Now, I decided that there was just too much of it, and I did not like the brush line, so I just took a paper towel and kind of smeared across just to soften it a little bit, because I didn't want that much texture. I didn't want there to be globs of this. And honestly, guys, I have no idea if mixing the acrylic paint and the gesso did anything, but I did it anyway, and we'll see. So I just wanted to add a little bit more, and I get that going. And there is that paper towel again. Just gonna dab it a little bit. And I'm liking the way it looks, and I feel like it's going to be a good background for my photos. So then what I'm going to do is do the packaging technique with some distress inks. And I'm using 2 different colors and kind of watering it down and placing it all over the place. And it does look like a hot mess for a minute. It looks pretty bad. And then I just decide that I don't want it to be big, hard blotchiness. So I smush it all over the page. And then I decide this is going to take too long with the packaging technique, so I just stamp all over the page itself and then add some water and smush it all around. And it works because that gesso and probably the acrylic paint too give it a smooth surface so that it can do that. And there are areas on the paper that are not covered in any of the gesso or the acrylic paint, and it comes up as a different texture, and I really like it. I really like the way it looks. And I lose some footage in this, so you're not going to be able to see everything, but I do use some mulberry paper and also some vellum to layer underneath of this pink cardstock. And then I use some pink glimmer mist, so that's kind of a blast from the past. And see, I'm really liking the texture and the look of this. It's totally making me happy. And I just keep messing around with it until I get what I think looks good. It's given me a decent background. And then here I add some splatters with the paintbrush, and that does dye my thumb, and I still have an ever so slight amount of blue still on that thumb. All right, now I'm just going to grab some bits. So I grabbed this plus sign stencil, and I'm also pulling this chipboard. It says So Fun from the Maggie Holmes Carousel 12 by 12 chipboard sheet. And I'm going to use some Bo Bunny glitter paste, and I gotta say, I love Bo Bunny glitter paste. Like, it makes me happy. And there you can see the vellum and the mulberry paper that's layered underneath of those photos. And I'm just like doing this around kind of where the photo will be, so it looks like it's going up the page, and then a little bit is going to poke out from the top left-hand side of where the photo is as well. And the only thing I'm doing is lining up that stencil to the other plus signs so that I can continually use it and not worry about smearing anything. And since I'm not using a whole ton of the Bo Bunny glitter paste, it's actually going to dry pretty quickly. My page is definitely like warped because of all the paint and water and distress ink and everything else I was putting on there, but in the album it'll flatten down, so I'm completely okay with it. And I just have a cheapy little palette knife that I picked up at Michael's somewhere. Like, it's a really cheapy one. And at this point I wasn't sure like how far I was going to follow the sketch and if I was going to put something down at the bottom. But as you'll see in a moment when I come back to talk to you live on the, or in real time, I should say, not really live, you'll be able to see what I've done. Okay guys, so I looked up to stop the camera and realized I had never turned the camera back on after I had gone and washed my stencil for these dots. So what I did was grab some tiny heart wood veneer and sprinkled them up the page to go with the glittery dot pluses here. And I brought some over here and also used this wood half circle thing that came from a Freckled Fawn embellishment kit. I used some of these, they're like fabric-y, canvas-y tags, and I put one up here and tied a little bow. And then down here, these two pieces of vellum and this banner right here is actually a tag. So it's a tag with two of these vellum tags layered on top. I just stapled them across the top and shoved them up underneath the photo. I grabbed some tiny word chipboard, and that came from Freckled Fawn, and I just wrote the name of the ride and the date here. And then these are just some of those Prima flowers with brads poked through. And on the back of my sheet you can see I used some washi tape, some sequin washi tape, to just cover up the tines because I don't want anything to harm the back of my page when I put it in. So, and I told you that I was going to tell you which 5 things I used for the Secret Not Secret kit challenge. So I used wood veneer, 3 photos, splatters, which you might not be able to see that great, but I think you see me splattering with a paintbrush and my thumb, and I still have some blue there. And then I also used this pink bubble gum glitter mist, just to bring the pink out a little bit more, and you can see the little splatters, and it's just a little teeny little bit of them. So that's there. So splatters, tags, which I used 4, and then cardstock. And this pink paper that the photos are mounted on is, because it's only one sheet, is cardstock. And then this is some mulberry paper, and then some vellum mount on top of that. Down here, this is the branding strip from a pink paisley paper. I was originally going to cut off a piece of this and put it down there, but when I went to cut it, I realized that the branding strip had that, so I just used that. And then I added one more floral down here. So here is my layout. Here is the sketch. I followed it pretty closely. I moved around my things a little bit, but there it is. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.